What's up, you guys? Today, let's talk about how to get rid of social anxiety. And the first things first thing I want to cover is that really anxiety is not your problem. Courage is your problem. That's what is lacking in your life, and that is why you're feeling social anxiety in these different situations. So I actually used to struggle quite a bit with some social anxiety, especially during my high school years, and who didn't. And there were times during my adult life where I have struggled with social anxiety, and I have felt that fear to express yourself, fear to talk about the things that you care about, fear to engage with other people, and feeling just like you can't really socialize with people as well or as skilled as you possibly could. And really, at the end of the day, that comes down to the fact that we feel that by trying to communicate with other people, they're going to judge us, they're not going to like us, and they're not going to accept us. And the only reason that anxiety is there is because humans are a social species, and we have this desire to fit in for our own survival. So then we perceive the threat of expressing ourselves as not being accepted by the group, then we get cast out and we build up this anxiety. But the truth and the reality is behind that anxiety is that the only way to truly overcome that is by taking the action itself of putting yourself out there and doing what needs to be done in order to properly socialize with people. So having built up all this anxiety, it's because you've been in your head for too long. It's because you're up here when you're in these social situations and you've created all these false fantasies and ideas and misconceptions about what people are going to do when you communicate with them. And sometimes in this world there are mean people that want to shut you down, but in my opinion those are the rare exception. Those people don't come around too often. Most of the time you get kind and loving people in life that want to love and accept you and that are open people, and the more you are willing to step out of your comfort zone and socialize with people, the more confident you will become, the further and further that you get along. It's actually a skilled process. Socialization with other people is a skill that can be learned. You can get really good at it. In fact, there's this book called Emotional Intelligence that is really good at explaining this concept of understanding what other people are feeling so that you can communicate with those people more intelligently, and it helps a lot with your social, with how you guide yourself in social situations and how you handle certain things that come up. So you need to start looking at socialization as a skill that can be mastered. And skill can only be mastered by practicing the skill. So a lot of times you have men and women that are too scared to practice the skill of socialization, and you're dealing with the problem of courage. And the only possible way to truly fully get over that anxiety so that you can build the skills of socialization is to go inside of yourself and look at why you're facing these anxieties that you've built up in your head. What do you think? What is so negative about socializing with people that you're holding yourself back from communicating with people? Why are you doing that? Why do you feel the need to keep yourself safe by not socializing with people? And once you understand that about yourself, and you understand that you've just created a false fantasy inside of your head why you shouldn't socialize with people, you can overcome that, and you can go and start actually putting in the action to build that skill. By facing that fear that you've built, eventually that anxiety will go away, because you will over time get to a spot where you can socialize better and with more scale. For example, I can tell you that one of the times that I had recently become single after I ended my relationship, and this has happened to me with multiple other relationships, where I just socialized with the girlfriend that I have at that time and not too many other people for quite a long period of time. So I'm used to communicating with that person and that feels normal, but then it's almost like because I wasn't socializing with other people, I started feeling socially awkward around others. And so if I would go out with friends or something, especially after having become recently single, I didn't know what to say or like what to do, and I felt awkward and I didn't know, because like in a way, it's like when you're in a relationship, you build a certain culture with that person, and you have certain things, certain inside jokes, and certain things that you talk about between each other that only make sense to you two. And once you're able to, or once that relationship has ended and you're in the social, you're back in like the sexual marketplace, and you're communicating with people, it felt really awkward for me at first. And I remember that having been through that a few times in my previous relationship, just as my very last one that I ended, I was in that spot where I knew exactly what was going to go down. I knew I was going to feel awkward going out and trying to talk to people. I knew I wasn't going to be able to, sometimes like I wouldn't pick up like on certain sarcastic quotes and stuff, and like joking around with people, and I knew that it was going to take me a minute to feel like I was getting back to normal. And so I remember going out with a friend. We went out to a bar, and there was this really cute girl, and I wanted to go up and talk to her. And so I was like, I had all this social anxiety built up, and I was like, if I don't do it, then I'm just going to be perpetuating the idea inside of myself that it's like, that there's something wrong, and like all this fear. So I knew that I had to just bring up the courage to just face the fear, and only by facing the fear would the anxiety eventually go away. And I knew that I was probably going to mess up that interaction. Just had to take a quick break for an hour, but let's get back to getting this video done. So as I was telling you, I was really nervous when I wanted to go up and talk to this girl, and I went into that interaction with her knowing and actually expecting that I was going to completely mess it up and embarrass myself going up and talking to this girl, because I just knew that I wasn't socially versed or had practiced my social skills at that time. So I was just expecting to mess it up. And it was really good that I had that mindset, because I did actually mess it up, and it was really funny. I accidentally spilled her friend's drink on her, and it was just an absolute mess. But I knew I was going to mess it up, and obviously, yeah, it was embarrassing in the moment, but I knew that if I just went there, and even if I knew I was going to mess it up, I knew that that first interaction, facing that fear that I had, was going to be the worst interaction I was going to have. And hey, I set the bar so low that it didn't matter going forward. Every other interaction I was going to have with a girl was going to be better than that first one. And so, coming out of that situation, I was able to, leave the situation and think about the things that I did right and wrong. And most of all, it was just important to have the courage to go up to her and come out on the other side having messed up, thinking about the fact that I did mess up. What lessons did I learn from it? What could I do to, be more confident next time and be able to have a better conversation with the next girl that I talk to in that type of social situation? So, that's why it's important to literally just face your fear and just do it. Like, you can't look at that situation and say, I'm going to talk to that person when I feel confident in myself. Then I'll talk to that person. It's not going to work that way. The truth and the matter of fact is that you're going to feel nervous. You're going to feel awkward, and you have to do it while you feel bad and awkward. And only by doing it while you're feeling bad and awkward and having that anxiety and doing it over and over and over, then you will eventually get over that fear as you develop more and more skill in social situations. Now, I also want you to realize that this comes along with anything that you do in life. Think about any sport. If you're gonna go up and you're gonna play a sport, and it's like an important moment, you're gonna feel nervous and you're gonna have anxiety if you're not prepared. If you're gonna go into a test or an exam day, and if you're not prepared and you're not skilled in whatever you were studying, you're gonna feel nervous. You're not gonna feel ready. So coming down to those social situations, it's just important that you have the courage to be able to practice the skills that will take you to the next level. Now, without all that being said, there are certain things that you can do outside of these social situations to make sure that you aren't running into more anxiety, that you aren't creating more anxiety inside of your head, and that you can also do to mitigate anxiety going forward in the future. So one of the things that I like to do always after when I'm in these phases of perfecting my social skills again, especially after having left a relationship, is I like to leave every social situation and recognize when did I feel nervous, when did I, do something like, funny that wasn't like correct in that situation or that wasn't the most socially skilled. Think about how I messed up and how it can be better next time. And it just takes a few, maybe a few weeks of practice, maybe a few months at most of practice before you get really honed in and really socially skilled again. Outside of that, there's other simple things that you can do. For example, avoiding caffeine. Caffeine can release a lot of cortisol in your system, and releasing that cortisol will make you feel nervous at times, and being jittery can give you extra anxiety. Coffee alone, when you have too much of it without being in a social situation, can give you anxiety. So adding a situation where you're already feeling anxiety on top of that can make you feel bad. I will also say that porn is a really big problem. If you have any type of porn problem or porn addiction, porn is really bad for your brain as a whole. I actually read this one book called Your Brain on Porn. I forget who it's by, but it was a really good book because it was actually that I had struggled with at one point for a little bit of time. And it, reading that book made me realize how bad and how it totally messes up the wiring inside of your brain and does make you feel very socially awkward. So by letting go of any type of porn habits that you may have, that will also increase your confidence during social interactions. It's also important for you to recognize the things that you're good at and the things that you're not good at. And by building confidence in other areas of your life, you will also be more confident in social situations of your life. Now, that can be by maybe there's something that you feel self-conscious about your body, your career, your job, and all these other things. There's other things that you want to be better at in your life. You can actually go out of your way to become more skilled in those other areas of your life. And just like I talked about in my video of how you do one thing is how you do everything, you can actually develop insane confidence in multiple areas of your life, and that will start bleeding out into the other areas. So it's also very important for you to build confidence in other things and other habits and hobbies that you have in your life so that you can continuously build confidence in many other areas of your life. And finally, just as a last tip, make sure that you always hype yourself up. I believe I have a video. Watch my videos on confidence and on controlling your mindset. Go through my channel and look at some of these other videos that I've made. And seriously, one of the most awesome things that you can do is just to hype yourself up and tell yourself that you can do anything, because you really can. And the more that you start doing incredible things in your life, the easier it gets to do more incredible things. So just talk to yourself in a positive way and recognize that every single time you're going to be a social situation that gives you anxiety, you might mess up a few times, and it will get awkward from time to time, but just the fact that you're hyping yourself up, talking to yourself positively, and having the courage to go out and practice those skills, you will eventually become so good at them that you will be able to handle any social situation with ease, and you won't have any more nerve-wracking factors going on inside of your head that make it so you have all this constant social anxiety. So that does it for this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel below and click the link in the description to go get your Legend wristband. I send these out to you guys for free just for watching these videos. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll talk to you guys soon.